Welcome back, y'all. It's Sports and Spirits, as you can see by our illustrious sign. We're going to be talking about sports and a little bit about spirits today.
Yeah.
There's a lot to cover.
It's going to be a juicy one for sure.
Some very interesting things happened this weekend that you all need to know about. But before we get into that, really quick,
Yeah.
Spirit of the Week
Okay.
from our friends at Pursuit United. This is their double oaked bourbon. It's incredible. And we're going to get into that a little bit more later.
Yeah.
So let's kick it off with the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, let's just start off. When we last saw you, we talked about a Thursday night game. Chargers were hosting the Vikes. It was pretty tough to watch. Carson Wentz was very banged up, we would say.
Yep.
Later to come out, find out this over the weekend of reports he's going to have season-ending shoulder surgery. So he was really hurt.
Can we ever win when it comes to the quarterback position?
I don't know. I mean, if you watched the game, the Chargers did look really good all night.
Yeah.
You know, they did execute, other than the almost interception for a touchdown on the first drive. But after that, change of possession, and the Chargers really dominated us, and it was tough to watch as Vikes fans.
As the score would
37-10. Yeah, it was not close in the end, but we'll see. The Vikes got a long way ahead here, and they got a lot of things left to decide what's going to look like for the future. So.
Yeah, it's not looking great.
No.
Currently.
No, and the schedule doesn't get easier.
We're out. What's the status on QB1?
Yeah, it sounds like they are going to lean back towards J.J. McCarthy coming up this next week against Detroit. He's going to have to be the answer. I mean, they let Sam Darnold walk, Daniel Jones go. I mean, they think he's the guy. Eventually, he's got to show it, right?
Now we don't have a backup.
Yeah, not worth much. No,
Right.
no. Brosmer, undrafted guy from the Ghosts, so we'll
Yikes.
see. Yeah, not ideal. But, let's get into that Sunday slate. It was definitely one that, with all these teams on buys, we didn't expect to have these crazy games happening.
Right.
Like it was going to be kind of a smaller set of games going on. We actually saw the Ravens host the Bears in what we thought would be a big shootout going into it. The Bears. But unfortunately, without Lamar Jackson, it really wasn't like necessarily this big shootout that we expected.
Right.
But they leaned on Derrick Henry in the game.
That guy looked vintage.
Yeah, I mean, he is still one of the best backs in football, given the right game script. And, we saw that with the 2 touchdown performance to help lead them to a 30-16 victory.
Yep.
Watch out, because the way that division's kind of formulating here, with that AFC North, you're seeing some guys lose some tough games. You got these Ravens. If Lamar's coming back here, it's going to be something to watch. So we'll see how that unfolds as the weeks progress.
So do you think Baltimore can realistically make a late push when Lamar comes back next week?
I realistically think it's very possible, because I think the team that wins this division prior to the year starting was probably expected to be 12-5 probably.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're looking at a team that might be like 10-7 that wins that division.
Yeah.
So with the Bengals playing with Joe Flacco, the Steelers losing tough games with Aaron Rodgers, and obviously Cleveland Browns are pretty much out of it at this point. So you're looking at, these 3 teams that are all having their own injury issues or even just team issues.
Right.
I don't see why not. Baltimore's got a tough schedule, but Lamar Jackson is an MVP.
Yeah.
So if he plays anything remotely at an MVP level, why not? We'll see.
And then Derrick Henry, I mean, has he kind of put himself back into the mix of top tier RB conversation even, or?
Yeah. I mean, the only thing you always have to consider when it comes to Baltimore is potential lopsided games, because that does favor Henry in some sense, but then in other senses when they're losing in lopsided games, it doesn't.
Right.
Because, when they go from run heavy approach to throwing, then bust in Justice Hill, guys like Keontae Mitchell, and then Derrick Henry's not getting that catch volume.
Yep.
But given the right game script or in close games, Derrick Henry's going to be a monster, because inside the 5-yard line, there's nobody better in the NFL.
Yeah.
So touchdowns are always the multiplier in fantasy.
Yep.
And so if you can get as many of those as he has in years past down the stretch here, it's going to be awesome.
And
to
you
watch.
said 2 in this last game, which is fire.
Yeah. So, I guess let's talk about the Jets.
We might as well stay over there on the East Coast.
Yeah, the Jets get off the snide. They get their first win.
What's it feel like, Jets fans?
Yeah, I don't know. There was so much speculation going into it with regards to the quarterback situation in New York.
Right.
You had Justin Fields being rumored to be benched for Tyrod Taylor. Well, Tyrod Taylor had a knee injury this week, so he was ruled out prior to the game anyway.
Oh my gosh.
So, it's tough mentally as a quarterback when you're rumored around the world that you're going to be benched, and now you're going to have to start for your team on Sunday that hasn't won.
Right.
Finding that motivation to play. I mean, I got to give a lot of props to Fields. It takes a real mature approach, to your job, to go out there and try to execute, and, all power to him. Breece Hall had a big day, 3 touchdowns. So that kind of solidifies him in fantasy as a guy, and given the right matchup, is a very good high upside top 10 play of the week. But you just got to monitor who they're playing, because in lopsided games, it's not going to be that good.
Yep.
But either way, it was definitely an interesting one to watch. 39-38. It was definitely more thrilling than we expected, for sure.
How about Flacco, though?
Yeah, and a couple touchdowns, another big game out of him. I mean, he's just played really solid for them. They didn't close the door on this one. The defense really let him down.
How could you, defense?
Yeah, well.
You got this old guy out there giving it everything he's got, and you couldn't stop that.
Yeah, he's giving it everything he's got in the tank, man. Yeah. Talk about a guy giving it everything he had. The Browns played the Patriots this week, and Myles Garrett had one of his historic performances on defense, like by himself. He had 5 sacks on the day, which is setting the Browns single game franchise record. The Browns being around as long as they have, it's pretty impressive. But unfortunately, it was not a close one. Drake May is showing why he has...
Even with 5 sacks.
With 5 sacks, they absolutely still smoked him. It just shows you how bad Cleveland's offense is, but also just how good the Patriots are playing.
Well, think about that, too. 5 sacks, generally, I would say... most quarterbacks in the NFL would get shaken up, but you didn't see that here.
No,
out of a young quarterback like him,
it's so
that's
impressive.
Crazy.
It's so impressive. I've been nothing but shocked and impressed by everything he's done so far this year. We all talked about it going into the year. I've been a big Drake May guy, and he's just shown every week that he really is a great NFL quarterback, and he's putting the Patriots on the map as a team to actually watch out for, which is crazy that we're talking about that. But
what's also crazy is, too, from the side profile when he's throwing, looks a lot like Tom Brady.
He does.
It's crazy. Weird.
It's just more athletic, which is even crazier to think, wait till they get some legit weapons around him, over the years, because guys are going to eventually, when you have a good quarterback in free agency, guys covet the idea of playing with a good quarterback. Like a guy like Stephon Diggs that signed there. He's like, whoa, Drake May's a great quarterback. I'm going to go play there. Guys want to go play with these guys. And as the seasons progress, if Drake May continues to develop, I don't see why the Patriots couldn't be back in contenders at some point here really quickly.
That would be good and also a bummer.
Yeah, because you have to watch Patriots win some more again.
Time.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But
maybe spread the wealth a little bit.
All right, well, maybe not on as exciting of a note here. We do have to address it in the Philadelphia Eagle New York Giants game. Saw standout rookie Cam Skattebo go down with
one of the most
gruesome, devastating injuries you're going to see in person.
For a hot minute. Now, I remembered when we were talking about this earlier before we hit record on the old podcast. Back in 2009, my boy E.J. Henderson for the Vikings was playing against the Cardinals and literally snapped his femur in half. And we were watching the game, and you could see his leg literally bend when he got hit. It was just the most disgusting, gruesome thing I've ever seen. And here we are again, seeing the same type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's the unfortunate part about playing football. We've seen a lot of bad injuries this year, unfortunately, but
this one was real bad.
Yeah, I mean, he's
when
just
your ankle's pointing the wrong way.
He's going out for a pass. He just got rolled up on. That it's part of that hip drop tackle they're trying to eliminate. So there was no flag thrown on the play, but expect a fine for the linebacker on that play, because that's really what the tackle was. They need to address that. If they're going to throw the flag, they need to throw the flag in the game, because otherwise it changes the game. A fine later doesn't affect the down and distance on the field. So the Eagles got the job done against a shorthanded Giants team, 38-20. Saquon had a monster game, finally for the first time this year. And then he left the game with a groin injury. So that's something to monitor this week. They are going on a bye, so it is a good time for that. But on the fantasy side, keep an eye out for Tank Bigsby. They traded for him this year, midseason. And if Saquon does miss any time, I mean, he's a top 15, top 20 play given the game script of the Eagles, And so something to monitor there as the bye week unfolds, if you have room to stash him.
Right, no doubt.
But yeah.
Let's get to the other side of the old United States. Well, the middle of the United States, at least.
Yeah. Let's start it off. You're talking probably Denver Cowboys.
I am definitely talking them.
Yeah. It was, we had went into it and we said it was going to be the battle of is the offense or the defense better?
Right.
And it truthfully, on both sides of the ball, Denver was better. They not only did they out execute Dallas offensively, but they pretty much shut down Dak Prescott like we predicted would happen too.
Exactly.
I mean, that score ended up being 44-24, but one of them was a garbage touchdown late by Joe Milton.
Because
so
you don't leave your good guys in.
Right. So, I mean, but you're talking about a Dallas team that's been averaging about 25 to 30 points a game, and they score 16 in a game that's supposed to be like, okay, are we here kind of prove it game?
Tells you a lot about the defense of the Broncos, in case you didn't know that.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Top 2 in the NFL, for sure.
So pretty decent.
The only thing to monitor on the Broncos end, I did see the rumor is that Patrick Surtain, is potentially going to be going on the IR.
Oh, really?
That makes a big difference. That's the lockdown number 1 corner in the NFL. Former Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
So that will be something to monitor. But either way, the Broncos show that they're a legit contender. So
dang, Skippy.
Yeah. And
Bo Nix keeps on Bo Nixing.
The only other team hotter in football right now is probably the Colts.
Which is crazy to say.
Yeah. I mean, Denver's been on fire the last 4 weeks, other than that comeback from behind. But, man, the Colts just look on fire, dialed in. They got it figured out on offense.
I won't lie to you. I didn't see that coming at the beginning of the year.
No, I mean, we've probably talked about them 3 or 4 times now of how shocked we've been.
Right.
Now it's just becoming like, okay, maybe I get it. Yeah, they are good. So at some point you have to, decide how you're going to outlook on things. And honestly, behind Jonathan Taylor's fourth game this year of 3 touchdowns.
Let's go, baby.
He's got 14 touchdowns through 8 games.
MVP chatter might be 100% ramping up.
I mean, he's definitely a potential MVP. At the very least, he's like the offensive player of the year.
Yep.
I mean, at worst, unless he, obviously, knock on wood, hopefully nothing happens injury-wise. But, I mean, it could be the first time in 13 years that you see a non-quarterback win the MVP award.
Yeah.
I mean, that he's on insane numbers. Like, if you compare his numbers this year to last year against Saquon Barkley, he's got more yards and 6 extra touchdowns through 8 games.
True.
So, you're talking about a pace where, that was the only complaint with Saquon's status last year in regards to his MVP, is that he didn't have as many touchdowns because Jalen Hurts runs in all those tush pushes.
Yep.
But we also haven't seen any quarterbacks that have, exploded.
Right.
So last year you had 2 legit MVP candidates at quarterback, Josh Allen and Lamar.
Yep.
Both could have won MVPs in their respective years, given that they weren't the same.
Right.
Whereas this year, haven't seen any quarterback that's on that level in terms of numbers. We saw Mahomes has been playing phenomenal for the Chiefs, but they had a couple picks last night.
Yep.
So some of those things kind of hurt you, but we'll see. It's a long season, but if he can keep up this pace, I don't think why not. I'd love to see a non-QB win.
Right. So every time we talk about him, I think about Home Improvement, a 90s sitcom with an actor by the name of Jonathan Taylor Thomas. He was the heartthrob of every girl in my entire high school class.
Okay.
And for some reason, I don't know, anytime we talk about him here on the show, I think of him, which is weird.
Yeah.
Because he was just a skinny little white dude.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay. Well,
just an interesting side note. I had to put it in there because, ADD.
Yeah, sure. Well, and then the game that was the most talked about for the week. Sunday Night Football. So, obviously you had the Steelers taking on the Green Bay Packers. Rodgers facing his former team. Will always be talked about in the media. It was honestly just the only way to describe this game. It was definitely a tale of 2 halves. So you had the first half dominated by the Steelers.
Yep.
I mean, their defense looked good. You had a couple missed field goals by the Green Bay Packers. We're like, what's going on here? I think going into halftime was 16-7. Well, Green Bay turned it on. They ended up putting up, I think they scored on all 5 possessions that led by Jordan Love in the second half, you know? And so it was pretty crazy to watch, to see Green Bay go put on that kind of run against the Steelers team. Historically, that's a really good defense.
Yep.
And he also had at one point, Jordan Love had 20 completions in a row, tying Brett Favre for the all-time record for Green Bay. So it was a historic performance.
You think this was Green Bay's answer to say, hey, we made the right call?
Yeah.
This is like the exclamation point on it, basically.
The only way I would describe this is this was the game that I would describe as the changing of the guard. The discussion of, was it the right call to move from on to Rodgers, from Rodgers to Love? And I think this game proved that was the right call.
So do you think it was more about the Packers' adjustments, or did the Steelers just collapse?
I mean, you got to assume there's a little bit of both.
Sure.
I mean, because like obviously you got to give props to the coaching staff to come up with a game plan in the second half that executed immensely better than their first half approach. But the only thing to note that'll be interesting is the splits of the carries. I noticed that Josh Jacobs was letting a lot of the carries go to Wilson.
Yeah.
So that'll be something to monitor from weeks go on. I think they're trying to save him over the course of the season.
Sure.
Because let's be honest, the Green Bay Packers are a playoff team.
Yeah.
It's no doubt. I mean, they went all in this year, trade for Micah Parsons. They're a playoff team, but Tucker Kraft has been awesome for them too.
Mm-hmm.
He was really, really good in that game. National Tight End Day.
Right.
It was really cool to see that, but it was fun.
This is the last time that the Packers will see Aaron Rodgers.
That I believe is true. I think this is his last year.
Yeah.
He's got nothing left to prove. He definitely is not going to win a Super Bowl, I don't think, this year with the Steelers. So.
And he's old.
Yeah.
Really old.
And it's not like he has to make more money. He's definitely done that. So it's definitely, we'll see what happens at the end.
He's good, but I mean, with the players that are coming up and what we're seeing, you're just kind of shooting yourself in the foot. Like, quit while you still have a good legacy.
Yeah.
And let it just ride into the sunset.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of the Chiefs, you had Monday night. We saw them they hosted the Commanders. The Commanders were super shorthanded. No Jaden Daniels. They've had a lot of injuries this year. They had both the receivers back, and then in the game, Terry McLaurin got injured. So just all things considered, the Chiefs just were healthier. They were better. Winning on the night 28-7. Not much else to talk about other than the Chiefs. Are legit, and they're a team to watch out for sure.
We talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the season, how in the last year or two, injuries have just gone through the roof.
Right.
And you're seeing it a lot. Obviously on the A-list players because they're obviously playing more, but it's like...
Or more talked about.
Right. They're more talked about. Playing more talked about, whatever it is, but it's like... Why... Or how do you fix that? Like, what do we need to do, or what were we doing before where we weren't seeing so many injuries from star players or... anybody really as much as we are right now?
Yeah, it's a question that I don't think anybody has an answer to, and I think that's the issue, because like you play such a physical sport. I mean, you can't like convince guys to play softer or not play as hard, because then the guy that plays harder than the other guy in terms of effort is going to win every time if you're not all playing at the same kind of 100%. So they've tried to eliminate some things by adding some elements of flags and stuff, by like the hip drop tackle, certain elements of like protecting the quarterbacks. I mean, we've seen it. Guys are just running.
Yeah.
They run and boom, something happens. It's like some of it's like just non-contact.
Yep.
Obviously the Skattebo injury is a little different, but guys that like have a hamstring injury, they're just running down the field. Boom, that's on them. They got to condition better. That has nothing to do with like team doctors or nutritionists. He's just got to be in better shape.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting because like we're seeing so many guys that we didn't even expect to have any kind of relevance in the football season, let alone fantasy, let alone anything, that have actually had such a huge impact on this season already.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens. It's a long season ahead, but either way, it was a pretty good packed week for football.
No diggity. Now, before we get too crazy into the rest of this incredible episode, why don't you take a quick second to like this video?
Yeah.
Subscribe to the channel.
For sure.
It definitely helps us grow this bad boy so we can continue to make this even better. It's going to keep on going to the moon. Before we get any further into more sports, we might as well talk a little bit about spirits.
Sure, why not? Let's do it.
Now, our friends here at Pursuit United, I got to actually meet Kenny, one of the owners or one of the founders of Pursuit.
Okay.
When I was down there for the Kentucky Bourbon Festival.
Sure.
Now, you have recently had this.
Yes.
On the Rare Barrel Whiskey channel.
Correct.
If you missed that video, I'll link it down below. But this bad boy here is shockingly reminiscent of cake batter. Like crazy. This is a double oaked bourbon. And it is a blend of low rye and wheated bourbons.
Okay.
One thing that's very cool about Pursuit United is they're very transparent about what they're doing with their stuff. Mm-hmm. They got these bottles from a few different places. Bardstown Bourbon Company.
Okay.
Tennessee Distilling Partner. Now, here's the thing. Some of the distillers won't let you say who they are.
Right.
For brand reasons and different things like that.
Right.
And then Finger Lakes Distilling in, I believe that's out of New York, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Now, the Bardstown Bourbon Company barrel has 78% corn, 10% rye, and 12% malted barley. The Tennessee is 80 corn, 10 rye, 10 barley, and Finger Lakes Distilling is 70 corn, 20 wheat, and 10% malted barley. 108 proof. And I got this right from their brand new storefront on, what's that street that all the Whiskey Row?
Yep. Yeah, Whiskey Row.
Right there on Whiskey Row in Louisville, Kentucky.
Really?
And wow. On the nose, cake batter.
Yeah, like if you were to, before you bake it.
Yep.
Like cake batter before you bake it.
It's like you pour the thing into the cake pan, right?
Yes.
And you have the bowl.
Yes.
And you've scraped it all out. And
yes.
then you smell the bowl.
Bowl, yes, exactly
That's
what it smells like.
Yep.
You don't taste it?
No, it doesn't translate.
It doesn't translate to your, like, the palate itself, but it's most prominently on the nose for sure.
Yeah. And I can sit here and smell bourbon all day long. That's probably my favorite part of sipping bourbon is smelling the incredible aroma that comes off these glasses.
Yeah, the nose is usually the most unique and fun to experiment and try. That's delicious. It's got your oaky mouthfeel. It lingers in the palate in terms of like it has a longer finish. Not in a bad way, just it gets that oaky, that almost like a molassesy, like almost trying to reach for cherry but not cherry.
Right. You can see like there might have been something. It's like a whisper of cherry way on the back.
Correct.
It's there but not there.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty tasty stuff. So it's not widely distributed.
Correct. I was gonna say I haven't seen it in Minnesota.
Doesn't come up here.
So
if you're gonna find it, I would go down and check out their sweet storefront down in Louisville, Kentucky. Just plan a trip down there. Hit up the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. It's well worth it if you are into bourbon or whiskey at all. It's a ton of fun. But that's it. It might be somebody's fantasy to go down there to the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. But speaking of fantasy, it's time for fantasy football.
Yeah, so we saw a very packed week in terms of like some players come back to life. First off, right off the rip on Thursday, you had Ladd McConkey reestablished himself as the number one weapon for the Chargers going forward. Playing in that slot, he's a lot more shifty than Keenan Allen is. And Keenan Allen is receiving a lot of the focus of the defense on certain downs and distances, which is allowing Ladd McConkey to open up in regards to his coverage. Yep. So that really helps for like the longevity of his season in terms of high volume. And at a depleted position, which is the tight end position right now in fantasy football, Rondé Gadsden has been a very good weekly option these last 3 weeks.
Right.
Especially with guys going on bye. This past week I had Trey McBride on bye, and I was able to pick him up in one of my leagues, and he helped me win. So I don't think he's going anywhere. I truthfully, they rave about him in that locker room, and Justin Herbert talks highly about him. He's a very big target, and in the red zone, he's going to be huge for them down the stretch. I think he's a guy that could potentially be a league winner type ad off the waiver wire because the volume's going to be there, and as the fourth option in their passing game, he's going to have a lot of opportunities to have one-on-one coverage. Right. And with one-on-one coverage being the bigger, more skilled player, it usually bodes well. And with Herbert playing as a top 10 quarterback in football, it usually bodes well for all things considered on that offense. So until Amari and Hampton comes back, Justin Herbert's a top 10 quarterback, And all those weapons, I'm playing them all, and I don't care who their matchup is unless it's like a really, really good secondary.
That's sneaky.
So we'll see. We'll monitor that as it progresses throughout the season, but I do believe this next week they play the Titans. So lock them all in there.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
that's an easy one.
Yeah, that's an easy one. And as you had mentioned earlier, Derrick Henry.
Oh, yeah.
He is back in RB1 territory. I think with the return of Lamar on Thursday, they are saying about 95% chance that Lamar plays on Thursday against the Dolphins. The Dolphins have had a very up and down season. They played a lot of close games. Right. They've lost a lot of tough ones. But the one thing that they are not good at, they are awful against the run. They are very, very bad. They gave up over 200 rushing yards to Rico Dowdle. Derrick Henry's significantly better than Rico Dowdle.
Yeah.
So this should be one where he eats, but it'll be
leaves no crumbs.
Yeah, he does not leave crumbs. He finishes his runs. He does.
The whole thing.
Yeah, so it will be interesting to see how that, split goes with regards to their pass volume and the run game. But if they learn from last year, Derrick Henry is pretty good, and we're going to use him. So he's back in that RB1 territory. Another guy that's reestablished himself that we don't have to talk about it anymore because it's just a lock at this point, Jamar Chase.
Yep.
He's a top 3 wide receiver. He's proven that no matter the quarterback, we were just concerned with regards to the upside because of Jake Browning.
Yeah.
But with Joe Flacco in there, he's peppering him targets. His fantasy value's right at that floor of anywhere between 15 to 20 points at minimum on a weekly basis, with the opportunity to have the highest ceiling in any player in fantasy.
Right.
With regards to volumes, big plays, touchdowns. He's going to be your top 3 guy. If you have him, you kept on him. You didn't sell him off. Congrats, because he's going to help you, down the stretch here as you get into the playoffs.
It's always good when you get an old guy like Joe Flacco coming back into the team and he likes you as a receiver.
Yeah.
Like if you can get that chemistry going.
Well, in that
lights
game,
out.
In that game, I don't remember exactly if he had 10 or 11 receptions.
Yeah.
T. Higgins had 1. You know what I mean? So so which guy do you want on your team? Do you want the boom player, or do you want the guy that's getting all the volume?
Yep.
So he's back in that discussion, and the guy we've been the most high on.
Here we go.
Let's address the QB spot.
Here we go.
There's obviously going to be some guys returning from injury. Drake May could finish as QB1 overall this year.
Boom! You heard it here.
QB1.
You heard it here. Probably 5th or 6th because everybody's talking about it.
Right. Yeah. So it's with their soft schedule and their reliance on him through the air. I mean, their running game has been hit or miss, mostly miss
because you don't need it.
Yeah, and when he's as efficient as he's been, I mean, he's hardly turned the ball over. He's throwing a bunch of explosive plays.
Athletic as he is.
Oh God, it's so fun to
watch. He can freaking move.
Yeah, I mean, even with a pretty average offensive line, honestly. I mean, he's showing that, that he's it.
Yep.
He's good, man. I mean, I don't think he's going to be in that discussion in regards to, MVP or anything like that this year, but it's something in the future to monitor because there's a good chance that, you drafted him in maybe rounds 6 through 12, depending on your formats, and he's going to end up being the top 5 quarterback for. It's like, what a steal.
You got yourself one of those come-ups.
Yeah, I mean, he's last year's Jane Daniels, in terms of where he was drafted and where he's going to end up, and that's how you win fantasy leagues because you were able to build your skill position players around a late-round quarterback, and so certain formats better than others, but if he's averaging 25 points a game, I think you're doing okay.
Yeah.
So
speaking of MVP, though.
Have to talk about him.
You really do.
I mean, if you watch just the highlights of the season, his ability to just break up. I mean, and he's not even doing it by volume of touches.
No.
He's insanely efficient. I think he touched the ball yesterday 14 times, and he still had almost 200 all-purpose yards. Yeah. He had an 80-yard touchdown run that was insane. The guys that he beat on that run to score. I mean, he's so fast, so big, so strong. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is probably your MVP front runner as of right now. And if according to some of the Vegas odds, they don't even have him in the top 5, which is crazy. So we'll see how. I'm going to assume that's going to change as these weeks progress or now. But take a look at that if that interests you. But definitely a potential for fantasy MVP at the very least. Because he wasn't a first-round pick.
No doubt.
He was a second, third, or fourth rounder, depending on your league format, and he's going to end up being a league winner.
Yep.
So, then lastly, Monday night, we saw the resurgence of Mahomes and the Rashee Rice connection. They've been back for 2 weeks. They're both going to be top 5 players at their positions the rest of the way.
Right.
I mean, we've seen even in good or bad matchups, they find a way to target each other. The thing with Mahomes was always the question is he going to have enough touchdown passing volume that he hasn't had in years past in order for him to be fantasy relevant? And this year, you probably got him at a discount. In years past, he was a top 3 or top 4 quarterback off the board, and you probably got him at maybe 5, 6, or 7 off the board. Right. And, he's shown that, he's still him and he's still really good. And the Chiefs are a team to wreck with. So,
still got some gas in the tank.
Yeah. And so these guys are going to be huge players down the stretch. So it's going to be fun to watch.
There it is.
Yeah, that's
fantasy football recap from this last weekend. And it was more exciting than I thought it was going to be, with everybody being on a bye.
100%. Yeah, with the 16
on a bye.
There was
a lot going on, and it was real fun to watch.
Yeah, it was good.
But how do we get NFL players, you may ask? Well, there's a feeder league.
Yes, there is.
And we call that the NCAA.
Yes.
And here's what happened.
Yeah. I guess... Yeah, we'll just start off with you had 8th-ranked Ole Miss go on the road against Oklahoma.
There they are.
Oklahoma's ranked 13th, so this is probably the highest ranked matchups of the week in terms of teams that were in that playoff. It was a very, very, very competitive SEC matchup. It was back and forth. Both these teams were able to move the ball well.
Yep.
Ole Miss honestly just had an extra possession with the touchdown. Went in 34-26. Ole Miss has showed that they've had stretches of really good football and really not so good football.
They started early hot.
Yeah.
And then
a couple bad weeks in a row, one with a shocking win and one with a loss, So it's one of those where you don't know what that team looks like yet.
Right.
In terms of at the end of the season, but we'll see.
Kind of like what we were talking about with the Dolphins in the NFL. It's been this up, down, up, down.
Except that at least Ole Miss is winning.
Right, exactly.
Which is nice. But and then the game that we thought would be, potentially more high scoring, a little bit more electric, was 10th ranked Vandy against 17th Missouri, and what turned out to be just an absolute defensive showdown. It was, I think, it ended up being a 17-10 win by Vandy. So a really, really low scoring game, and that touchdown came with like 2 minutes to go by Vandy to take the lead. So it was a late game touchdown. So I mean, it was like
barely.
Yeah, it was like something like 10-10 forever. But, it was definitely a good win for Vandy.
Yep.
Anytime you get that ranked win, especially in a close game like that and in the SEC, that really should vault them into being a playoff team based on the rest of schedule. So we'll see how that unfolds.
Ooh, baby.
And the team we like to talk about, just because why not? 4th-ranked Alabama.
At least this time it's further in the list.
Yeah, it's further in the list. We highlighted the more marquee matchups this week, but... they went on the road and faced a very battle-tested South Carolina team. It was not Alabama's best showing. It turned out to be way closer than we wanted it to be, but they did hold off the win with a late-game touchdown, 29-22. But, at one point I believe they were down 8 with like 8 minutes to go. Bama was. So it was not looking good.
What were these guys doing?
Yeah, it was...
the tide was not rolling.
They were not rolling on this day, but... these are the games that set them apart in regards to down the stretch, that they can win those close ones if needed. Those are really high character, high positive movement wins.
Yeah.
So battle-tested Bama gets it done again, and their schedule softens up here the next couple weeks. So that'll be nice. But
they'll be able to hold on to that 4th position there.
We called it last week. I can't believe I actually aced this one, but Texas A&M went on the road against 20th ranked LSU in their toughest test of the year, and Marcel Reed is legit. He's elite. He had an absolutely awesome performance, resulting in what we called the potential last game for Brian Kelly, because he was fired.
It happened.
It happened. We called it on Thursday. It happened. And I just, in his career, he had a winning record at LSU, but he could never win any legitimate ranked opponent game. In all things were pointing in his favor.
Yep.
At home, at night, against a young quarterback, and he still couldn't get it done. I mean, when it comes to results, that's what we're in.
And there was not any results.
No, I mean, I don't really even know how to describe it other than I knew it was coming.
It's that It's not that it was mind blowing. It's that. It puts you in a place where you just like have no words for it.
Yeah.
It's like, how does somebody get to that level of coaching and then just fall?
Yeah, I don't get it. I believe
they call that the Peterman effect.
Okay, there you go.
It is a psychological effect to where you rise to your limit, and the only way you find that limit is going one step above what you can handle, and you get bumped right back down.
Yep. So, yeah, either way, we'll see what the rest of the season unfolds for LSU. The only guy to really monitor on the LSU side is what does Garrett Nussmeier's draft stock look like going into the next draft.
And will Livy Dunn come back for a 6th year?
Oh, yeah. All right. And then lastly on the docket, obviously there's more games. We're just kind of covering more of their ranked opponents or the close ones. But 24th ranked Arizona State, after their shocking upset last week against Texas Tech, gets upset by Houston at home. Just brutal, coming off a huge victory for the team to take a loss to Houston 24-16. They just couldn't get the offense going until it was too late.
Yep.
You know, at one point in the game, I believe it was might have been 24-0. You know, it was Houston was just kind of rolling them for a while. It's just, college football is crazy. On one week you beat a top 10 team, and the next week you lose to an unranked team.
Yep.
You know, that's why you watch it. That's why we cover it. It's just so exciting, and it changes every week. Yeah. You know, so yeah,
there it is. Make sure you keep up with all these bad boys because, like he said, it's exciting. So
yeah,
it's always changing. It's always crazy.
And we're pretty good at predicting what's going on too.
Yep. We really are. Yeah. Obviously, you just saw it.
Yeah. So,
and with that. It's the MLB.
Yeah. We are only going to probably be talking about this one on this episode and maybe the next.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. It's going to be one of those things that we're wrapping up. It's been a great season.
It really has.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch. And we kind of predicted that this series was going to be interesting and have some intrigue. And by God, has it had some serious intrigue. Friday night, you saw the series open up in Toronto for game 1. The Blue Jays the bats came out on fire. 3 or 4 home runs on the night. Blake Snell had his worst start of the season, at least the postseason.
Right.
And the Blue Jays won 11-4, and everybody kind of was like,
"Wait a second, is this real?"
Blue Jays just won game 1? Well, they did. Game really 2 was quite the opposite. Let's just say Yamamoto had another insane game on the mound, had a complete game in back-to-back starts.
Really?
It is the first one in the World Series since 2015.
Ah, dang.
The Dodgers have been just dropping some insane history notes throughout this postseason, and it's just been so fun to watch to see how special this team is. The concern is just who's going to beat them?
Right.
How can you beat them? You know, I mean, Dodgers win this game 5-1 to even up the series 1-1. To go back to L.A. and where they got a chance to win 3 in a row.
Yep.
I mean, it's tough to see the Blue Jays win in a single game, but that game on Monday night,
yep.
Oh man, was that special to watch. So if you got to watch that in L.A. game 3,
yep.
We saw Ohtani shine again. He had 4 extra base hits in the game, 2 home runs, which now makes him the first player in MLB history to have 2 home runs in 3 games in 1 single postseason.
Dang.
And he's only the second player to have 4 extra base hits in a postseason World Series game. And did that all in this game.
Holy
cow. And there's also something else crazy that's happening. Oh, yeah. He's pitching tonight for game 4. You know what I mean? That's how crazy this guy is.
That's nuts.
So if you stayed up till the crack of dawn to watch this game.
Because that one went, 18 innings?
18 innings.
Holy
Freddie Freeman
cow.
hit a walk-off homer in the 18th inning to win 6-5 and take a 2-1 series lead. That is equivalent to them playing 2 full baseball games in 1. So if you got your money's worth, if you had tickets to that one.
No doubt.
But now you got game 4 tonight. Ohtani on the bump. Let's see what he's got in store for us.
That's crazy.
can't believe how special his postseason run's been. These last 4 games at home, he's been insane playing in LA. So why not? Let's see a home run tonight, maybe 6 or 7 innings pitching.
Might as well.
Because that's how good he was. But it'll be fun to watch. And then, we'll see as the season progresses. You'll have Game 5 the following night, and then if necessary, you'll have Game 6 and 7 in the weekend. So either way, we'll have a conclusion pretty shortly on who the World Series champ is.
The MLB is wrapping up.
Yes, it is.
Sad, but it's exciting.
Yeah.
Sad to see it all go, but exciting to watch it leave.
Yeah.
Because these games have been just that. Super exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But something happened here in the great state of Minnesota.
Yeah.
We had our NBA home opener.
Yes, we did. We've also seen a bunch of other games we'll highlight as we go here, but yeah, we saw the home opener on Sunday night.
How was that? You were there.
Yeah. The atmosphere was awesome. It was really exciting. They debuted their Trees jerseys. I did pick up myself a nice Nas read. I'll probably throw it on at some point for a podcast later on.
You got to.
But unfortunately, we saw Anthony Edwards go down with a hamstring injury. And it's rumored he's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks. So
for real?
So he's actually going to be out for 2 weeks. So that is the only bummer on that slate. But maybe to revisit some of the highlights over the weekend, I can't not talk about Thursday night.
Right.
The Thursday night, there was only 2 games, okay? And first you saw the Thunder take on the Pacers.
Yep.
In an NBA Finals rematch.
Yep.
And this game went to double overtime. So this makes it where the Thunder went to double overtime for 2 straight games, and it's the first time in history that a team in their first 2 games go to double overtime. So another historic, night for the Thunder, and the Thunder got the win. They have just really showed that with even shorthanded, they still can beat these teams. And it's cool to watch. But then to follow that up, it transitioned right into the Nuggets playing the Warriors, which we highlighted as being a really good game to watch.
Yep.
Aaron Gordon had the best game of his NBA career. It was historic. He scored 50 points. He was 17 of 21 shooting, and he was 10 of 11 from the three-point line.
Dang.
At halftime, he was 7 of 7 from the three-point line. He couldn't miss on the night. It was actually crazy. Unfortunately, it was in a losing effort.
Dang it.
The Warriors got the win. So, it's so tough. Steph Curry had a crazy fourth quarter.
Love that guy.
He's special, especially at home. But it was fun to see Aaron Gordon kind of go off there.
No doubt.
And then
50 points. That's wild.
50 points. Yeah, it was crazy. And on that same night, SGA scored 55, his career high. So he's had 2 guys score 50 points in the same night.
Here's a question,
What's
really
up?
quick, just for you personally.
Yeah.
You must watch a lot of sports because those 2 games were happening Thursday night.
Yep.
And the Vikings game was happening Thursday night, and you were on top of all of that stuff.
Yes, I had them both covered.
This guy is just on it.
I got you guys. That's the whole point of this. I want to hopefully, give you guys everything that we see, and maybe just if you missed it.
And he's not going on to ESPN and Yahoo Sports and just trying to pull a bunch of their headlines. He's literally watching the game,
correct,
and giving you his analysis, not everybody else's.
Correct. Just trying to create something different for everybody. But Friday night, we saw the Timberwolves take on the Lakers in LA.
The Lakers.
This was really a good matchup on paper, just because the history with these 2 teams. Obviously, last year we took them down in the playoffs.
Yep.
And they're shorthanded. The Lakers are still without LeBron James.
What's his story? When he's coming back?
Yeah, it sounds like he's going to be reevaluated in 2 to 3 weeks.
Holy cow!
So he's going to be out, and this actually ended up being the last game we saw out of Luka Doncic as well.
What?
So Luka got injured in this game at the end, but not before he scored 49 points. Beating up on us. The Lakers got the win, but whenever you see Ant and Luka play against each other, it's always awesome.
Yeah.
Well, fortunately, now they're both out. But at least if you were there in LA on Friday night, you got to watch that, which is pretty
here's
cool.
a question then, maybe I've been thinking about this all wrong as far as players and injuries and stuff like that.
Okay.
Maybe it's, since we're often hearing more about the elite players kind of going down due to injury. Yes, we do hear about other players going down, whatever.
Sure.
But maybe it's their mental ability to push their bodies further, almost to the point, of breaking. Mm-hmm. Because to be at that level of an elite player,
right,
you have to be able to mentally push your body to places that it may not be able to go, and sometimes isn't able to go. And maybe that's the only thing that is.
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of things to consider on that. I mean, obviously, when they're the elite players, no matter what sport you're playing, they probably play the most.
Right.
You know, and so whether that is the most minutes or the most usage on offense or defense or whatever, like they're in the action. Right. You know? So like,
and they want to be. That's the mental thing too. That's the mental side of it too.
Want the ball.
They want that.
They want the attention. They want the game.
It's not that their coaches are forcing them to do it. It's not that that the fans are forcing. Like, as the elite player that they are, they want those minutes.
100%.
And that's where they're pushing their bodies to places that bring them to injury.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I've heard reports on some guys over their careers, like a Russell Wilson, LeBron James, who have spent over $1 million on a yearly basis just to have their body right.
Sure.
I mean, if you have the funds, I mean, obviously, congrats to them. But, I mean, that's what it takes to play, you know, at this high level if you want to stay healthy.
Yep.
You know, there's one thing you can always guarantee when it came to Russell Wilson. He was going to give it a go if he could.
Yep.
You know, and that's because he put in the effort in the offseason to be in shape and being ready to go.
Right.
You know, and LeBron doesn't play for 20 years if he doesn't spend the money on his body to stay healthy, right? So luckily we did see Luka this offseason get into the best shape he's ever been in. You know, and
it's showing.
It's showing. I mean, obviously he's going to be out for, it sounds like, a week just for some rest purposes. It's a long season. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. But I mean, he will be an MVP caliber player, you know, with that, you know, getting in shape.
That's crazy. I love it.
Yeah. And let's just keep talking about the Thunder. Cause I mean, we called it on this past podcast that I thought this Hawks Thunder matchup would be one to watch.
And here it was.
It was. Both teams were short a couple players. You know, there's no J-Dub, no Kristaps Porzingis, you know, for the Hawks. But SGA showed he's still the best in the game. Yeah. You know, Chet had a big one. I believe he scored 30 points in that game. And the Hawks kind of looked a little off on offense without Porzingis. You know, the flow was off.
Yep.
But yeah, the Thunder started off hot, and then the other hottest team in the league. Can't not talk about the start for Victor Wembanyama.
Oh,
all right. We talked about that he has the dark horse ability to potentially be the MVP this year for the Spurs.
Sure.
He becomes the first player in NBA history to score 100 points, 40 rebounds, and have 15 blocks in his team's first 3 games. 3 games. MVP season loading?
I'd say that's a hot contender for sure.
I mean, you know, and then I believe they also won their 4th game. So they're actually, the Thunder and the Spurs are the only 2 teams that are 4-0.
Ooh.
The reason why I like to talk about the Spurs and why I think that they are going to shock people the rest of the year, their team build is similar to what we've seen be successful for other teams.
Sure.
So you're going to struggle for years. Mm-hmm. You're going to then have high draft picks, and then you have a bunch of high draft picks that turn into stars.
Yep.
You know, you have Victor Wembanyama.
Yep.
You got Dylan Harper this past year. You got Stephon Castle. You have Devin Vassell. Yep. Oh, and they also haven't even played with De'Aaron Fox yet, who they traded for last year, who's their starting point guard. And they're 4-0.
Dang.
You know what I mean? So with all that young talent supported by some veteran players that they've signed, you know, on their roster, the Spurs are going to be a team to watch out for.
So here's a question.
Yeah.
This is going to be a tough one.
All right.
Because you mentioned 2 really good teams.
Yes.
Which start of the season has impressed you more?
Okay.
OKC or San Antonio?
Ooh, that's tough. Man, that's tough. Man. I mean, the easy answer is San Antonio because you don't expect it.
Okay.
In terms of, like, you know, you didn't expect them to be 4-0 and look as dominant as they are, but I actually kind of did.
Sure.
I'm maybe a little different than most people. I kind of had an idea that this team would be kind of good.
Well, yeah, I would say you're more analytical in that sense. You're not just watching the game to watch the game.
Correct.
You're like, you've been following a lot of this stuff on the outside. We're like, no, they have this player, they have this player, they have this player. These guys are going to be coming up.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I would actually have to say the shocking approach is based on the teams they've actually played. The Thunder being 4-0 was impressive.
Right.
Being that they had to win 2 double overtime games.
Yeah.
They're without their second best player.
Sure.
J-Dub or Jalen Williams, if you don't know the nickname, has been out because he had wrist surgery.
Yeah.
So to win 2 double overtime games without, your second best player, and then also win 2 additional games, one against a really good Hawks team.
Right.
That's impressive to start 4-0. So, yes, they are the defending champs. They should win their games, but you don't win everything.
No.
You're not going to win every game. They're not going to go 82-0. You don't have to quote it. It's not happening.
Right.
But they kind of had some guys that have shown that they deserve more minutes.
Yep.
Whereas the guys for the Spurs that we expected to have some breakout potential have shown that already.
Right.
The Thunder have had guys that we haven't talked about at all last year.
Yep.
Mitchell off the bench for them. He's been awesome.
Right.
And so you just have to see what happens throughout the season and how the minutes split, but it's definitely something to watch out for. Both those teams are legit contenders in the West. That's all I have to say. But
boom. One more quick question. Bring it back home.
Yeah.
To the old Minnesota.
Yeah.
How worried should the Wolves fans be with this hamstring injury with Edwards?
Yeah. So, first of all, we just have to address the fact they also played last night at home against the Thunder, against the Nuggets.
Yep.
They played the Nuggets. Jokic, this is always going to be a big matchup because we, had that big 7-game series against them 2 years ago.
Yep.
Jokic has 25 points, 19 boards, 10 assists. Another special triple-double from the guy. It's becoming so expected at this point that we don't realize how crazy good that is.
Right.
To have 25 points, almost have 20 rebounds. Oh, and then you also have 10 assists.
Yeah.
He's the center. He's the offensive focal point. He's the defensive glue.
Yep.
He is the best player in the league when it comes to his ability to affect the floor.
Right.
Yep. And to also be the actual facilitator as a center is crazy to me. Although Jamal Murray did torch us yesterday for 43 points, this game did show you the lack of shooting that the Timberwolves are without Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Edwards has this ability where can create his own shot, pretty much at will.
Yep.
We don't necessarily possess a ton of other guys that can do that outside of, maybe Julius Randle. McDaniel showed a little bit of that last night. He's going to have to be big. Luckily, there's one good thing. Our schedule's semi-soft to start the year. We have a road stand coming up against some softer teams, which does bode well if you're shorthanded. Well, one of the best in the league.
Yep.
We'll see. I would be a little scared. It's never ideal to be without your best player,
especially when they're saying they're going to reevaluate in 2 weeks.
It's not looking good. If I'd love to say we're going to see him before Thanksgiving, but we'll see. Hamstrings are tough, especially with a guy that plays 40 minutes a game.
Right.
It's not like he's just going to be, we just need you to get back for 12 minutes.
Yeah.
We need you to get back for 40.
Right.
And then also drop 40.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's just,
we don't want you just on the court.
There.
Yeah, we don't want you on the court for 40.
Yeah, exactly.
We need you to actually contribute.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Hopefully we get more updates as that progresses in terms of his status. But
what a bummer, though, on the first few games of the season to have something like that happen.
Well,
and not only them, but so many players.
I wouldn't be a fan of basketball if I didn't mention Austin Reeves against the San Antonio Kings.
Oh, yeah.
Or Sacramento, not San Antonio. Sacramento
there
Kings.
You go.
Dropped 50 without Luka. 50 points. Come on, Austin Reeves.
Let's go.
So, he carried that team to a victory there, but we'll see. We'll monitor these teams as they progress and as these injuries, because obviously with these star players, it definitely affects outcomes.
Right.
And then also matchups to watch. And we'll kind of address that as the season progresses for sure.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well,
let's get to the ice.
Let's get to the ice. There's so much going on in sports. So much going on. Hopefully you're sticking with us here. This is our last segment of the video. Let's talk some NHL. Obviously, let's just start off on Thursday night. I like to just kind of cover the main matchups.
It's the best way to do it.
Yeah, and so we talked about, the Hurricanes just barely gets the job done against the Avalanche.
Yep.
5-4 in a shootout.
Yeah.
We were going into it talking about these are some legit teams.
Yeah.
They obviously we're very early in the season. We're only about a week and a half, 2 weeks in. So obviously we haven't seen,
But some could argue that they're cup contenders.
Oh yeah, I do agree. Given their rosters and their ability, that these are two teams that could be in contention as the season progresses. So really good game, really good win for the Hurricanes. Whenever you can win those tough ones, on the home front, not much to be positive about.
Really isn't. But that's kind of the case.
But yeah, you had on Saturday night we just had a drubbing.
Yeah.
The Utah Mammoth took us to the cleaners 6-2. Not a good showing from the guys. And then they're like, you know what? Let's try it. Let's try again. Let's try again on Sunday night.
You guys want to do it again?
Yeah, it's like, okay, let's show some offense tonight. But
maybe not quite as drubbing.
Yes, this one was a lot closer game.
Right.
The Sharks are definitely, in my opinion, a little bit lower level team.
Sure.
The Mammoth have been awesome to start the year. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, the Sharks got the dub 6-5 in OT. So we did get a point. OT loss. But yeah, not ideal in terms of a homestand there.
Right.
But
it's not good. Not good at all.
So here's a team. I don't know if you thought going into this year was going to be a team we'd have to talk about, but the New Jersey Devils.
I did not.
Yeah,
I mean, in the past they've been crazy killer.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I was going to be talking about them this year.
Yeah, and so they outlasted the Avalanche 4-1 on a victory on Sunday, in OT or 4-3 in overtime,
which proves that they are somebody worth talking about because the Avalanche obviously are the cup contender team.
Yep. 100%. Yeah. I mean, I'd say your biggest teams out west, you obviously got the Knights. Yep. And then obviously anytime anybody plays Edmonton, it's always a test. But then Avalanche and then the Stars. But to start the year, the one team out west that nobody expected to be in the lead for points, the Utah Mammoth.
Right.
Behind so far I believe it's Logan Cooley, for the Gophers, former Gopher, actually leading that team in points, which has been cool to see.
They are leading the Western Conference ahead of the Avalanche and the Jets.
Yeah, and then the New Jersey Devils on the other side.
Yep.
These are two teams that, we didn't expect to talk about, at least as of now. We'll see how it plays out over the course of the longevity of this season. But both teams, hot starts. You got to applaud them.
You really do.
Yeah, it's really awesome to see. So we'll see how the season unfolds, but just something to note as the season progresses here.
Definitely. There you have it.
Yeah.
The entire rundown of professional sports and the NCAA.
Yeah. Just because that's probably what most people are watching on Saturdays.
Right.
Anyway.
And we want to make sure that you guys understand what's coming up next for the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, there's always implications in regards to week on who's going to be on your teams. So that's why we kind of want to talk about it as well.
Boom. That's incredible. Now, don't forget to check out our Thursday episode where we forecast what's coming up this next weekend.
Yes.
You don't want to miss it. We're also going to tap into what you should be doing in your fantasy leagues. Very deep dive. Don't forget to watch that. Also, don't forget to like this video.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the channel.
For sure. Let's go.
Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.